What's up? I'm Keith Kalfas with the Landscaping Employee Trap. On my lap is my clipboard and my truck and 2 checks that I'm going to cash. I just went to the office and just checked my mail like I do every single Saturday. And I want to talk about getting paid on time in your landscaping business and why it's so important that if you understand that every single day that you wait or become lazy, or you don't have the energy to send that customer the invoice or pick up the phone or make sure that you're getting paid quickly, it's another day that there's a small percentage that keeps decreasing the likelihood that you will actually even get paid, right? There's something about, we call it Roman civil law, it's called catch me if you can, that even some of the nicest people in the world, that if you, most customers are great, but if you don't send someone an invoice, they just won't pay you. There's this weird little thing that sometimes people have that's like, they didn't send me an invoice, maybe they'll forget. And then they won't pay you. I'm just cracking some funny jokes here, but what I mean is invoices are due upon receipt, or if it's commercial, it could be net 30, 60, 90, whatever days. I've waited 90 days to get paid before, and it's not fun, and it messes up your cash flow. So we use Jobber, and I make sure that you can switch it, and I click due upon receipt. As a matter of fact, we like to get paid the moment we're done with the job. We knock and we do the final walk around, and we get a check right then and there. And here's one thing that I do in my business that might it's a rule. Up above me, you see this clipboard, my visor. Right here is a zipper pocket. Here's where I put receipts and cashed checks. Every single month, I take these out and I file them away in an envelope. So I have them for every single month. And you're actually supposed to, the old school was they would print out the invoice and then the change orders, and then they would staple the cashed check or the copy of the check to it and all receipts pertaining to that job, and it would go in a file folder in a big huge cabinet with the invoices and everything for that specific client. So every client would have their own file with all receipts, and then if you ever got audited, you would have a track record and a paper trail, a physical paper trail of everything. Now everything has gone digital, so I'm just storing all my receipts and all that stuff anyways. But anyways, every time I get a check, no matter what I'm doing, the second that check goes into my hand, I get in my truck, it gets cashed on mobile deposit immediately. And then what I do is I have pens. This is a good little tip. Clipboard, so you can, but we sign the check, mobile deposit. As soon as it's cashed, on the bottom left-hand corner of the check, I can't show you my customer's check. On the bottom left-hand corner of the check, in a little blank space of the actual check, I put a little D, so I know that that check has been deposited. Now I've gotten to the point where I just create a little scribble. I scribble a little D for deposited. And now if I have a check, like I have like literally $1 million in cash checks, and they all have a little D on the bottom left-hand corner, it means they've all been deposited. Otherwise you would get confused, and if you tried to deposit a check twice to your bank because you didn't know, did I cash this yet? I don't know if I cashed this yet. Well, let me cash it again. You will get a warning from your bank, and they might even fine you like $30 to $40 and say, hey, what you're attempting to do here is not good, and it's gonna put a strike against your account. I did that one time by accident, and it gets rejected. So make sure you do that. But anyways, my whole point of saying is make sure you invoice your clients immediately. If you can't get paid immediately, send them an invoice immediately, and you want to get paid online. So whatever CRM you use, I use Jobber, and they can pay their bill online. It does charge you a fee. You can tell your customer if you want to. I'm in a hurry here, so I'm talking fast. Tell your customers you can charge them a credit card fee. What I do is I split it with them. If it's, let's say it's 2 or 3 or 2.7%, I'd say I'll charge you 1.5% or whatever. Or you could just charge them if they want to pay with their credit card, they got to pay a 2.5% upcharge fee. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. But the convenience of payment online saves you a lot of time and energy and money and running around anyways. Let's just say at the end of the year, you've got $2 to $3 grand in credit card fees on your P&L statement at the end of the year, because all that stuff could be tracked in QuickBooks. Like, how much am I paying per year in credit card fees? Oh wow, I paid $3 grand this year in credit card fees alone. Well, think about this. If you're collecting payment online or over the phone, or if you've got an office manager, you're collecting payment online, or you got something on your phone where you can, just type in their card, and you do it quickly and swiftly and promptly, that saves you time where you can now go do another $3,000 or $10,000 in work, depending on what your time is looking like. I know I just said a lot there, but you're paying for the convenience. So the faster you can get paid and get that money into your bank, the better. So every time I get a check, instantly I stop everything I'm doing and it gets cashed immediately, deposited, and then the cash check goes up in here, and then I send the client an invoice marked as paid, so I send them a receipt, and then now we're squared up. It's done. But there's some things in life that are non-negotiables. You can think of all they're things that you do no matter what. They're prioritized very, very high. And one of that, for I think in running your own small business, is cashing those checks the second you get it, and making sure you follow up with customers who owe you money. How many people here in the comments, let me know, have customers who owe them money? So we had a customer that owed us money. I sent that customer an invoice every 7 days, over and over and over and over and over. And now I just got a check in the mail, and they owed us money for 6 weeks, and it was just a little tiny residential job that should have been paid right away. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. Another thing is, if somebody owes you money, here's one thing. If you're still watching, I hope. If you're new in the business and you're broke and you need to keep money in your bank, and you're hustling and fighting and scratching to get not broke. What I mean by broke is you're literally living check to check and you can't afford to even have a couple $1,000s out there. You need to get that money now, okay? If a customer doesn't pay you right away and a week has gone by, I hear this a lot, you start freaking out and having a panic attack, and oh my God, they're ripping me off, and building this whole case in your head and talking to other people. I'm going to go to their doorstep and I'm going to knock on their door right now and I'm going to tell them to pay me. How dare them rip me off? And then you get other people that don't really know your story, and that don't have their own small business and know that this is just normal, and they'll start buying into the thinking it's a fact that this customer's trying to rip you off, and really the customer's not trying to rip you off at all. They're just busy as hell. They got a million things going on. They're successful, and they're hiring you to do a luxury service. And maybe I got a customer that told me, hey, I pay my bills twice a month, on the 1st and on the 15th. So if you send me a bill on the 15th, you're probably not going to get paid to the 1st. If you send me a bill on the 7th, I'm definitely going to send you a check on the 15th. So I pay my bills on the 1st and the 15th. Sometimes I get paid quickly. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 weeks for me to get paid, depending on, when they pay their bills. But that customer is not going to reorient their whole life. If they sit down once every 2 weeks and pay their bills, sometimes they're not going to just reorient their life to pay you a couple $100, because they got a lot of things going on. And so you're creating a convenience to them to do a luxury service. Don't annoy them because you're scared. Just relax and know that they're probably going to pay you, right? It's rare that a customer rips you off. I thought I had gotten ripped off this year by 2 different customers. They both paid. They just paid really friggin' late. And how much emotional energy do you waste thinking that a customer is going to rip you off? Now, if we do a job over $1,000, it requires a 33% deposit down the morning of a job. We just sold a job for $9,430. The morning of the job, they're going to give us a deposit of, I don't know, what is it, three grand something. We just sold another job for $4,000. That was $3,900, because they got rid of something else. They're going to give us a deposit the morning of the job. Some customers, what I mean is that you want to get deposits and get them in installments. You could either do half down and the other half upon completion, or you could do 33, 33, 33. If it's a monster job, 40, 50, 80 grand, you could do quarterly installments, like 25%, 25, 25, 25, to make sure that you have money coming in, covering your labor and materials, and you have contracts and all that stuff, and those checks are getting cashed immediately, and the customer's getting a receipt, knowing that, because what happens is the farther you get drawn out is the more and more and more risk you incur. So you want to make sure you're always getting paid. But I know a business, I can't say much about it. It was 20 years ago. I know somebody very close. They had a pretty big business in the tune of millions of dollars, and they said that they just made the mistake of trusting their customers way too much, because they had these customers for years, and they ended up it was like somewhere around $1 million in accounts receivable that had not been paid, that they were owed by their customers. And then all of a sudden the economy crashed and everything changed, and a ton of these people went out of business. They claimed bankruptcy. Some of these clients that were their real friends, and none of these, no, they were only able to collect on about a third of these customers. And most of them didn't pay. Their whole business went under and they lost everything because they got too comfortable with letting money be out there. I have in my business somewhere around anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 owed to me by customers, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. If it gets over $6,000, I get a little uncomfortable, but that's the tune of your business. If you're doing $50,000 landscape jobs, you might have $100,000 owed to you all the time. If you're doing lawn care, you might have $3,000 to $5,000 owed to you. I don't know what it is, but we normally get paid right away as soon as the job's done. I hope I covered all that stuff there. I'm about to cash these checks and keep running my Saturday errands. I did a video called Saturday Finances and how it changed my life. I'll put a link below to that. But I also, I talked about Jobber in this video. You can get a discount on Jobber software. GetJobber.com/Keith. Link below. You get a huge discount if you need a CRM software to run your business and collect payments and all that stuff. But also, what was I going to say? I've taken Saturday Finances and I've been able to back it down mostly to Friday now, Friday Finances. So I'm learning, if you have like little systems and you get really, really good and efficient, you could turn something that takes 5 hours and compress it down into 1 hour because you get that good at it. You can start to fit more in. So now I'm doing The reason that I'm talking like this and I keep tripping over my words is because it's not that I'm afraid, but I'm kind of pissed off with this YouTube thing. If you're not constantly saying something that is inspiring and invigorating and motivating and mind-blowing or showing constant freaking entertainment, people bounce and they leave the video, and then they don't get the juice of what you were actually trying to say. They just leave and they just can't stop clicking and going to the next video. And so it's like I feel this constant pressure on me to keep you entertained, and I'm really just trying to get a point across, and it's pissing me off. And so if enough percentage of people in the YouTube algorithm are leaving the video because they're not getting that dopamine drip, then literally it destroys their search, the searchability, the ranking, and SEO of my videos. And I can't compete with that because some of the stuff that I'm talking about takes a while to get through it and talk about it so you really get it, right? It's just bullshit, dude. But anyways, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already.